Hello, this is Lorrie Hargis, registered aromatherapist and Flower Essence Practitioner. Got a problem? Press a flower on it. So, are you anxious, depressed, overwhelmed? You feel like you're being influenced by other people all the time and you don't know what to do, and it's making you more anxious and you're going down the rabbit hole? Well, Dr. Bach felt the same way in the 1930s during the Depression. He was a very successful doctor and he had went into homeopathy. Except what he found is that his clients, his patients weren't getting better. No matter how much medication he gave them, or if he did surgery with them. You know, if they had a gallbladder problem, he took the gallbladder out. They still had so much disharmony within themselves. They were unhappy. And he thought, what am I going to do? So he quit his practice, went out into nature, and started studying plants and trees and flowers. And he started realizing that human beings, we have an energy field. And the shocks, the traumas, the anxiety, the depression, the influences happen out here to us first. And then they manifest into dis-ease or disharmonies that go into chronic diseases. And he also realized that flowers had an energy field. All plants do. All living things have an energy field. And how he saw that when he put flowers into water and infused them with the sun, the water kept the hologram of the flower imprint. And then he started using them on his patients in the countryside where he was now living. And he could see how certain flowers were resonating with certain kinds of anxieties, depressions, fears, all these different mental health issues. And he found that walnut, the flower that comes from the walnut tree, helps us when we are being influenced by others that are blocking us from being on our life path. Now, this could be something like a friend saying, oh, you know, they'll never hire you for that job. And so you say, oh yeah, you know, you're probably right. And you don't ever apply for the job. Instead you say, no, I want that job. When really, you know, you're the right person for it. It's like you're going against yourself. Or for example, you know, you have also been influenced by a teacher who said, you know, you're really not that good in science. A career for you in science isn't good. You're only getting a B in science. And you end up owning your own laboratory in the end and being very successful at it because you said, no, I'm not going to believe him. However, if we allow all these different influences on us that aren't true, it can stifle us. It can block our meridians in our body. And we have 12 major meridians according to traditional Chinese medicine. And when they get blocked, then we have mental, emotional, and physical health challenges. And this is all energetic too. That has been studied for over 4,000 years. And so I wanted to share this with you because I found it so exciting. In one of our last Common Sense Community classes, we started working with walnut. Now the walnut tree, you know, it's a nice big tree, but nothing else can grow around it. Nothing else can influence it. So this is what Dr. Bach recognized when he was in nature with the walnut tree. he recognized that it doesn't allow other plants and trees to influence it. It grows the way it wants. So when he took the flower of it and he put it in this water and made this hologram and gave it to people, that's what happened. And this is what happened in our class. We saw, because we were using walnut flower essence and we were studying the small intestine meridian, which is connected to the heart and is a fire element, okay? And we pressed a certain acupoint with the walnut flower essence, and we had immediate results. People were totally energized because the small intestine is your transformer. It's like your electrical panel, right? And it's like your electrical panel, the electricity's been shut off when it is imbalanced. And boy, we hit that acupoint with that walnut and it got the energy flowing. It got people moving, getting out of their old patterns where they were stagnant, and they could feel it instantaneously. We had one member who was a nurse, and 12 years ago, she was hit by a patient, picking up the patient, and he accidentally went back like this with his arm. And it jacked her neck and her shoulder, and she had to quit her nursing practice because of it. It just damaged her really bad. And so for 12 years, she's been working really hard on this. And so after the class, she felt a release in her shoulder. She went to yoga an hour later, and she could do child's pose. She hasn't been able to do child's pose in 12 years. Then another one of our students, who's a podiatrist, for 30 years has been doing surgery like this. So when she'd go to the gym, she couldn't do butterflies, right? She couldn't fully do a butterfly like this. You know, she couldn't fully do it. She could only go back so far, like halfway. After doing the class, she can completely do it perfectly now and as many times as she wants. So this released a lot of stress and tension through both of these members' bodies. And also, now that that has released on both of them, they're making changes quicker. They're more resilient. They're going on. One of them had a fall, and she said, I picked myself up and I went on. She says, it wasn't any big deal. Just before sure, I brushed myself off. I came home. I put stuff on it where I'd fallen and hurt myself. But she said, it wasn't a drama for me. She says, I was able to move through it. And so that's what we want you to be able to do. We want you to be able to move through things, to get over things, and to be who you're supposed to be. So we would love for you to join us on September 3rd for our next Common Sense community workshop. And this one's going to be all about the spleen meridian. And the spleen meridian is connected to Earth. And it is the mother of all the other traditional Chinese medicine organs. And it's important for this meridian to function properly because it's what helps your immune system. It's part of your digestive system, if you want to look at it in Western terms. And so when we open up this meridian and we're going to be using a certain Bach flower remedy on that meridian, it's going to help us to embrace ourselves, to nurture our mind, body, and soul, so we don't feel isolated and lonely internally. Because, you can have friends out here and talking, but you go home and you still feel lonely and isolated. And this will give you the opportunity to really embrace yourself, care for yourself, and love yourself. And that way you can love others and show them how much you care. So join us September 3rd at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. We can't wait for you to have excellent results too, and to feel better. Don't forget your essentials, use your common sense, and please make sure you click the link below, join the Common Sense community, and be with us on September 3rd. Remember, all workshops are in your membership. Au revoir.